the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Watch out for a stalled vehicle in the right lane on I-35 northbound at Onion Creek Parkway. Speeds are starting to slow down behind this stalled vehicle. There's reports of a crash southbound on 130 at Elroy Road, as well as an accident on 183 at McKenzie. And looking onto 620 for a wreck at 2222. I'm Jason Fossick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Aleve. Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day. But when we're driving, cooking, and working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
This Sunday, iHeart presents the Big Three Championship between the Miami 305 and the Chicago Triplets. This epic fight for the title pits Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson against Montrezl Harrell. In their regular season meeting, Montrezl exploded for 28 points and dominated the Chicago win. Can Beasley and crew win the rematch when it counts the most? The action starts with the Big Three's 8th annual All-Star Game, featuring Dwight Howard, Greg Monroe, Jordan Crawford, Jonathan Simmons, and more. The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific on CBS.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get the Apple Leasing Advantage today. Visit AppleLeasing.com. That's AppleLeasing.com.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way. iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding teacher in your life to be among the winners of $5,000 to stock their classroom at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Mix and match scents to create your own unique scent combo that is as unique as you are. Mix, match, more happy with Gain.
From the Audiovisual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app.
The morning kickoff. The morning kickoff.
It's the morning kickoff with Mike Hardball Hardge and the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry, on your home for the Horns, 1300 The Zone.
Good morning, Austin, K-Town, Pflugerville, H-Town, Pearland, El Paso, San Antonio, and Silsbee, Texas, or wherever you may be listening. This is a way back Wednesday edition of the morning kickoff right here on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone. We are 15 days away from Cowboys and Eagles, but we are 10 days away. Vince Young, Peter Gardner, days away from Texas versus Ohio State. Arch and Hill and Michael Taft met with the media. We have Danny Davis of the Austin American Statesman joining us at 7:34. We have Kev Jardello joining us to talk Texas State at 8 a.m. And we have a Sooner, Cale Gundy of the Sports Animal in Oklahoma, joining us to talk about the Sooners at 8:17. I am your host, Mike Hardball Hardge. My co-host is a WWE Hall of Famer and recognized as the world's strongest man. He is the Mark Henry, but he is across the pond today. He will be joining us back tomorrow on the show. And our guy Marcus is behind the boards. And if you want to be a part of the show, all you got to do is text the word Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply. That's the word Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply. Also, if you want to leave us a message or get a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Pantera, all you got to do is use that talkback feature on the new and improved iHeartRadio app. The talkback feature is that little red microphone right there on AM 1300 The Zone. You can leave your message. If it's good enough, you might even hear it on air. Well, I want to get into this conversation because it is taking the nation by storm, and that is Arch Mania. Arch Manning, Michael Taft, and Anthony Hill, guys that have been recognized as preseason All-Americans, except for Arch. Preseason All-Americans, Colin Simmons, preseason All-American, Michael Taft, preseason All-American, Anthony Hill Jr. Those are the guys that were meeting with the media yesterday. And let me just tell you this, as each of these guys go through, I guess I would call it media training, it impresses me every single time because you got a couple things that are happening throughout these moments. One of those things is you get a chance to have conversations and you get to understand their personalities. You get to see who they are as individuals, but you also see them when they're around each other as peers. And to me, it's always been impressive when you can tell the camaraderie that people have. If you've ever been in a locker room or if you've ever been in a place where you guys are grinding every single day, you're putting in the work and you're doing everything you possibly can to make each other better and enhance what is happening, especially in a sport where the ultimate goal is to do everything you can to have a championship. We'll hear from Michael Taft a little bit tomorrow, but remember after that game against Ohio State, Michael Taft was seen on a knee, basically crying and feeling emotional because he thought that was going to be his last game. After some time, he decided he was coming back. He said, he was asked about why he cried during that time, and he was like, because I wanted it so bad for this group of players. And I get it. I mean, I've lost in some championship games. I was the reason why we lost in a championship series. And the emotion can get the best of you. But the other part of it is you get another opportunity to come back. You get a chance to regroup. And now you are the elder statement in that locker room. But for me right now, the man, the myth, the legend, the story of the season right now is one Arch Manning. And Arch Manning, great personality. I got a chance to interview him earlier on media days. Great young man, fun young man, got a personality, likes to have a good time. But the question was asked of him yesterday is, hey, Arch, now you're the starter. What has that what has that been like for you?
Yeah, I try to make it not. I guess in the years past, I try to prepare like I was a starter. Obviously, it's different when you're getting the 1 reps during practice, but just taking it day by day, trying to get a feel for my routine this week and then go on next week and in the weeks forward.
And then you also have to think about, okay, I'm a new quarterback. I got a new cadence. I'm running the team a little bit different than what Quinn is. My energy is a lot different than Quinn. We all are trying to get better. And there's going to be some struggles early in camp, and that's whether it's the offensive line, whether it's the route running, the timing with the wide receivers. But he was asked about the early camp struggles.
Yeah, I think the defense is always pretty good at the beginning of camp. But I think we've kind of caught a stride on offense, so it's been fun.
And for me, catching a stride, it can go so many different ways. The struggle was they're going up against that vaunted Texas defense, and we're calling it vaunted because on paper and the names that are there, they make you understand what it looks like. I was at the University of Texas yesterday, and we did a little photo shoot for the station, and Cole Brevard was walking down the middle of the field. And we walked past him, and I looked at Cam Parker, and I was like, that dude is massive. And I don't know if you guys have been able to – I know what it looks like on TV. I know what it looks like when you look at the weight on the description of the player. But until you see those young men in person, it changes your mind. And you understand why some of these guys are having some struggles, or why is camp going a certain way because of the defense. But he was also asked about how is the O-line doing in camp, because there's so many different starters that have been brought into the game. I mean, brought in this year because of what the mass exodus to the NFL was last year, run out of eligibility. So there's always going to be some struggles with the O-line, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, we got a good group, and we got guys that can play a lot of different positions and move the guys around. We've been rotating some guys, so it's been fun. It's a good group. They're tough, and we're going to compete every week.
And DJ Campbell said we're nasty. Now they're trying to work through an injury with Trevor Gooseby, but Coach Sark said the other day that he should be fine. There's not going to be a problem with that. Things are going to change once that starts to happen. But going on the road, being in a hostile environment, a lot of times these kids are learning, and Coach Sark talked about it too. He said, we're trying to simulate crowd noise, but it's not the same. You can pump in noise, you can do all the things you want during that time, but until you're in the fire, you don't definitely know how hot it can be. And now you're starting to understand, now we're trying to hit their stride. They've got their timing. They're understanding cadence. They're trying to make sure things are right as they head into game week. This is a mock game week. We do have college football this weekend, so some teams are actually in game week mode, but Texas is mocking it. They're getting themselves ready. But Arch was asked too, now that football is here, because in SEC media days, he was at every media availability. People were stopping him, taking pictures. He handled it well, including us being annoying trying to get that interview. But hey, being away from the media and just focusing on practice is all that he cares about right now.
Yeah, it's been great. Been away from y'all. It's been good. It's been kind of clearing my head. But I don't look at any of that stuff. I just play my game, have fun with the guys, and enjoy life.
And again, he has the right mindset. I'm not trying to overhype this situation. I'm not trying to build this thing up to more than what it is. You still got to go out there and play football. The team still got to go out there and execute. And you have to play at a high level, because that is the expectation here at the University of Texas. He is the most anticipated quarterback to be on the 40 acres since VY. And that's saying a lot. And that's 20 years ago. And how ironic is it that today is 10 days away from the season, and Vince Young, considered by many to be the greatest quarterback to play at the University of Texas. And we're 10 days away from that. But the question of the offseason, is Arch going to the NFL after this season? Grandpa says no, but Arch is like, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know where he got that from. He texted me and apologized about that, but I'm really just taking it day by day right now.
So does that change your thought, betting fans out there? Doesn't change mine. I believe he's still going to be the starting quarterback at the University of Texas for the 2026 season. But all we care about right now is the 2025 season, and the expectations for the Texas Longhorns are through the roof. We are just getting started on a way back Wednesday edition of the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. When we come back, we'll hear more from Hardge. We'll hear more from Anthony Hill. Danny Davis of the Austin American Statesman at 7:34. At 8 o'clock, Kev Chardello will be joining us to talk Texas State. 8:17, Kel Gundy will talk OU. And oh yeah, did y'all get a chance to watch any of The Gambler and America's Team? I did. We'll talk about it right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
For the fourth time in 5 years, the Texas Longhorns have won the Directors' Cup.
Texas wins the national championship. The Longhorns are on top of the college softball world.
From the courts to the field, Texas has dominated the nation.
Texas is going to the Final Four. The Texas women are headed for the Final Four.
1300 The Zone, the home of the Texas Longhorns. Hook 'em.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
The accident on 130 going southbound is actually closer to FM 812, causing some minor slowdowns this morning. Over on 183, watch out for a wreck at McKenzie Road, as well as a crash on 620 at 2222. And there's some stop-and-go traffic on I-35 northbound between Onion Creek Parkway and William Cannon. I'm Jason Fossick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This Sports Spotlight is brought to you by Capital One Venture X Card, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports. Did you know that the UNC lacrosse team that won the 2025 NCAA title not only featured a trio of sisters, Chloe, Ashley, and Nicole Humphrey, but also the first ever mother-daughter duo, head coach Jenny Levy and her daughter, freshman Kate Levy. Earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary travel with the Venture X Card from Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
Guilty, erroneous, sustained.
Are you just saying random words?
Don't settle for just any insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings.
This Sunday, iHeart presents the Big Three Championship between the Miami 305 and the Chicago Triplets. This epic fight for the title pits Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson against Montrezl Harrell. In their regular season meeting, Montrezl exploded for 28 points and dominated the Chicago win. Can Beasley and crew win the rematch when it counts the most? The action starts with the Big Three's 8th annual All-Star Game, featuring Dwight Howard, Greg Monroe, Jordan Crawford, Jonathan Simmons, and more. The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific on CBS.
Shop simple. It doesn't get any easier. You're looking for a new Ford. You don't have time to spend hours at the dealership. So Truck City Ford in Buda has made it simple. Go online. Pick yours at truckcityford.com. We can bring it to you for a home test drive. Once you determine it's perfect, you can arrange financing, value your trade, and sign all your paperwork digitally. Then simply tell us where and when you want to take delivery. Leif Johnson's Truck City Ford in Buda has made buying a new Ford simple.
Time for your Live Nation concert update. Don't miss The Offspring with Jimmy Eat World and Newfound Glory at Germania Insurance Amphitheater, August 24th. Our last night at Emo's August 29th. Pantera at Germania Insurance Amphitheater, September 2nd. And the Revivalists at Stubbs Waller Creek Amphitheater, October 28th. Get tickets at livenation.com.
After 48 years, Factory Mattress is going out of business forever. Over $15 million worth of world-class mattress brands must be sold immediately. Up to 80% off at Austin and San Antonio's largest independent mattress retailer. Everything must go, right down to the bare walls. Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and Stearns & Foster. No interest financing is still available. The Factory Mattress going out of business sale is happening now at all 14 locations. Don't miss it.
It's Bud Light's countdown to kickoff on 1300 The Zone.
Make sure you go to our social media page at AM1300 The Zone on Twitter, X, TikTok, and whatever else social media you're looking for. Also, I want you to get over there because there's a poll that's out there right now. We'll get into the entire poll a little bit later. The question was about the Dallas Cowboys documentary, The Gambler, and America's team. It talks about all the things that Jerry Jones went through, did to purchase the team. He's going to take out a loan from Jimmy Hoffa. He wanted to be an NFL owner so bad he was going to take a loan from Jimmy. It dives deep into it. But the question of it all is, do you or have you watched it, number one? And what were your thoughts of it? Thoughts on the Netflix documentary on the Dallas Cowboys? Love it so far. It's just a cold reminder. Haven't seen it yet and don't care. All you got to do is get over to AM 1300 The Zone on Twitter, X, and cast your vote. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I understand why I was going crazy as a Dallas Cowboy fan. I understand it. And last night, I told you before, my kids, my daughter, she rides with us. She's good. My son, own mind, don't care. He has his teams. He rolls with them. But last night, he actually sat down and watched the documentary. We were 3 or 4 episodes in, and he was like, wow. He got to see exactly what made us fall in love with the Cowboys. So get over there and cast your vote, and we'll continue the conversation a little bit later because I've got some more about that documentary. But right now, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Arch Manning. Arch Manning met with the media yesterday. He, Michael Taft, and Anthony Hill Jr., 2 of those guys, obviously preseason All-Americans. One of them, first-year starter, and is excited for his time to be the starter at the University of Texas. I think America is excited because during the offseason, the whole conversation was about Arch Manning and the expectations and what all is he going to do. And he was in Vegas having odds that he was going to be the number 1 overall draft pick. They also put him there as the Heisman Trophy winner. There was just so much hype around Arch. But Arch kept it in stride, kept it cool, kept it collected, and he understood the assignment. But he was asked yesterday about what about year 3? What has year 3 taught you as opposed to year 1 when you first got on the 40 acres?
Yeah, I think continuing to make practice like a game and play the situations and get as many game reps in practice as possible, whether it's not taking a sack or throwing the ball away, stuff like that I got to continue to do.
And the one thing about that is you're going to continue to try to grind it out because you're going up against what many have considered coming into the preseason the top defense in the country. And we always been talking about iron sharpening iron. And you're going to get some days where it's going to be the defense is going to dominate. You're going to get some days where you, as he said earlier, catch your stride as an offense. But truth be told, going up against a defense like Texas's and Texas defense going up against an offense where we all believe that they have the chance to be one of the more explosive offenses in the country just because of the ability to throw the D ball, it has got to be tough going up against that defense every single day.
Yeah, I think our defense is really good. Some days it's not so fun, but they're a really good group, and it's definitely good for me going against those guys every day.
And the one thing that I always try to equate it to is when you are going up against whatever it may be, you're playing quarterback, you're playing wide receiver, you're playing offensive line, you're playing point guard, and you're going up against one of the top defensive players on your team every single day. You either sink or you swim. You're either going to show up or you're going to get kicked out. And the truth be told, when you get to this level, and we've talked about the depth that Texas has created through recruiting, the messages that has been relayed is it's 5-star versus 5-star, 4-star versus 4-star. We heard Coach Sark talk about when he was at Alabama and what the bench players, the scout team players were Trayvon Diggs, who's now in the NFL, one of the top corners in the game, and Quinnen Williams were all on the scout team going up against that Alabama offensive side of the ball. And you realize that, hey, now Texas has those types of things. So the mentality is let's be aggressive with each other and teach each other and get each other better. But now he's the starting quarterback. It's that first time on the road, and he needs to understand what we need to understand is what is his mentality like in this particular moment.
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like I'm playing best when I'm having fun. So just remind myself to have fun. We do all the preparation throughout the week and throughout this summer. So once you get out there, just cut it loose and have some fun.
And that is what everybody's expecting. Everybody's expecting him to do that dance, hit you with that dance, and have a lot of fun going up against that defense. And listen, we're going to get into game week next week, and it is going to be all hands on deck. We're going to talk about what to look for on Ohio State, the numbers. We're going to break that all down. But right now, I just want everybody to be ready for the football season. And for Arch Manning, and I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, sometimes you got to slow down your expectations in the beginning. As the games go on, then you can hype it up because he's third year in the system. We already know what type of play caller Sark is. We know about the energy that Sark is going to bring every single day. There's no more looking back at that 5-8. No more. Forget that. The expectation is playoff national championship because it's been achieved 2 years in a row. And I don't see any other reason for Texas not to be in the playoffs again. I don't see that happening. I don't see the season in that type of capsule. But Anthony Hill in that defense is going to be the calling card early. So Anthony Hill was asked about Arch Manning and saying, how has Arch been in practice, and what has he done to make you guys better?
He's been doing a good job. I mean, he stays focused every day. I mean, he's the first one in here, last one out every day. So he's doing a good job preparing and getting ready for the big games.
And getting ready for the big games, it don't get no bigger. It don't get any bigger than the one that you're about to start the season with, or number 1 and number 2 versus number 1 versus number 3. I mean, it is all about that action, boss, in the very beginning of the season. I know that Arch is the main story, and everybody's going to be there looking for him. I'm looking at FanDuel odds. He's still number 1 on FanDuel as the top person in the polls for a Heisman Trophy. But man, let's let my man get on the field and handle his business first. The weapons are around him. The running game is going to be even stronger than what he had last year. Christian Clark, back. You see what C.J. Baxter, back. We already know what Trey Wisner is about. So you got your running backs. Now you got wide receivers who have stepped up, and we'll hear about them a little bit later. But you have guys that are there that are making you believe in this football team. One of my closest friends, I talked to him yesterday. He believes that Texas has a chance to run the table if everything runs right. That's a tall task, but I'm not going to doubt it. We got to see it to believe it, though. After game 1, then we'll start changing our expectations and seeing what this team is all about. But I know one thing, defense travels, and I know that Texas's defense is going to put Arch and the offense in some really good situations. Speaking of a good situation, coming up next is our guy Danny Davis of the Austin American-Statesman. He's been at all these pressers. I want to get his pulse on what he sees thus far right here on a Way Back Wednesday edition of the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Things are slow this morning on 183 due to a crash at Mackenzie Road. Looking onto the service road of 183 going southbound for an accident at McNeil Drive. There's still an accident being cleaned up at the corner of 620 and 2222, as well as a crash on 130 southbound at FM 812. I'm Jason Fossick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Abacus Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electrical.
In 20628.
Here's a great deal from Abacus Plumbing. Get a water heater flush or a mainline drain cleaning for only $49 each. That's a professional water heater flush or a mainline drain cleaning for only $49. Abacus. You can count on us.
This Sunday, iHeart presents the Big Three Championship between the Miami 305 and the Chicago Triplets. This epic fight for the title pits Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson against Montrezl Harrell. In their regular season meeting, Montrezl exploded for 28 points and dominated the Chicago win. Can Beasley and crew win the rematch when it counts the most? The action starts with the Big Three's 8th annual All-Star Game, featuring Dwight Howard, Greg Monroe, Jordan Crawford, Jonathan Simmons, and more. The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific on CBS.
Would you drive 10 minutes for $500? That's the distance from CarMax to Henna Chevrolet. And Henna guarantees you $500 more than any CarMax offer for your vehicle. Just show Henna your written CarMax appraisal offer within 7 days, and you'll get $150,000 more guaranteed. Is your time worth $50 a minute? It is at Henna. Come get your money at Henna.com.
Henna Chevrolet, we'll always stand by you.
Together, let's drive.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Progressive knows there are two things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems like snoring, aches and pains, hot sleep, or even an old saggy mattress that can keep you up at night. And our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And right now, save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic plus a $300 instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Cowboys receiver Jonathan Mingo, according to reports, will likely start the season on injured reserve with a PCL sprain. At Texans training camp, offensive tackle Blake Fisher did not practice due to an ankle sprain. Houston wraps up preseason play Saturday when they visit the Lions. Tigers smack 4 homers, crushed the Astros in Detroit. I'm Ronta Moss.
This is Chris Broussard. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by DraftKings.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 or older. Age and eligibility vary by jurisdiction.
Recently on an episode of the Fud Around and Find Out podcast with AZ Fudd, we were joined by Courtney Williams and Natisha Heidemann, the Stud Buds, for a conversation that goes from viral moments to downright chaos.
Courtney, you picked me up at All-Star. Do you remember that?
Stop it. I was picking people up, but I do remember picking you up, for sure. I picked you up in a different way, AG, than I was picking the other baddies up. You feel me?
To hear this and more, open your free iHeartRadio app. Search Fud Around and Find Out with AZ Fudd and listen now.
It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Longhorns, Craig Way. Weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
Welcome back to the Morning Kickoff, way back Wednesday edition of the Morning Kickoff. And when it's Wednesday, it can only mean one thing. Danny Davis of the Austin American Statesman joins us. And Danny, let's get right into it because we are 10 days away from Texas and Ohio State. What's your favorite Vince Young moment besides 4th and 5? I mean, I know that you weren't here during that time. I understand, but you did get to see a lot of Vince Young.
I mean, I wouldn't really. This may be sacrilegious to say around here, but I mean, Vince wasn't really my guy. I mean, I went to school at the University of Montana, so I'm a West Coast. I grew up rooting for Pac-10 schools. Then I was rooting for USC back in that Rose Bowl. So I mean, obviously, I got to see Vince break everyone's heart. I remember sitting in my living room by myself watching that game, and obviously being in awe of everything he accomplished. But I can't say that I was necessarily heartbroken by Vince not winning the Heisman that year. I once again was a Pac-10 guy, so I thought Reggie should have won it. But obviously, being down here in Texas, you get to kind of realize just kind of how spectacular that season was, and you get to see all the old highlights and kind of see what he did, and also in 2004, and you realize what a special quarterback he was, and obviously the goat around here. But my wife, who was at Texas at the time, is obviously a bigger Vince Young fan than I am.
I like that. I like that description, though, because true, you did not grow up around here, so you didn't really dive into the Texas lore until you had to come here and learn about all the Texas lore, and then you get a chance to see it all. Speaking of lore, yesterday, Arch Manning, less of a circus because it was just local media that was there, and it was an entertaining interview because Arch's personality is a lot different than what we've seen here in the past. Obviously, Quinn was not as outspoken, but Arch is kind of reserved as well. What is it about Arch that makes him so intriguing?
I mean, obviously there's the intrigue of the last name. There's the intrigue of the 5-star aspect, number one recruit in the country, which is kind of what Quinn came in with as well when he transferred here from Ohio State. There's the intrigue of the unknown. I mean, we don't really know what kind of quarterback Arch is going to be. I mean, we've got glimpses of it, but that's also against Mississippi State, and I can't even remember the name of that non-conference school he beat up on. I think that was ULM or something like that. But so there's the intrigue of is he that next great? Is he the next Vince? Is he the next Colt? So I mean, there's just a lot of intrigue about him. He's very well polished. I don't think he enjoys doing media, which is not anything new for Texas quarterbacks. I don't think you're probably have to go back a long time to find a Texas quarterback who actually enjoyed having to do this Austin media circus. I think Sam kind of liked it, but I think Sam had been kind of media trained by the time he got to Texas. But so I that's a long way of saying there's a lot of things intriguing about Arch. I think it's probably gonna it's either the luster is either gonna wear off once the season starts, or it's gonna skyrocket if he goes and is as promised and is as advertised. The scrums are going to be a little bit more busy with the national media coming in and wanting to get their piece as well.
No doubt. We're talking to Danny Davis of the Austin American-Statesman. You can follow him at _Danny Davis for all the latest. And Danny, he said something kind of backtracking what his grandfather had said, and obviously the national media runs with it, and now he's intriguing again when it comes to the betting odds, and everybody's all excited. But I do believe that there is some validity in what his grandfather said, but Arch just kind of played it off. Do you feel that kind of way about it as well?
Here's how I feel about it. Is Arch your kid?
Right.
Is Arch my child? My child's 4. I don't care what Arch does in next year, the year after that. It's his life. Let him live his life and enjoy the time you have with him. I mean, he's either going to be here for 1 more year, 2 more years. Sit back, enjoy the ride. When he decides to do what's next, what's best for him and what's best for his family, applaud him and wish him luck. But I don't see the point of people obsessing over whether or not he's going to be here in 2026 and doing so much that they miss what's happening in 2025. When Arch is ready to go to the league, he's going to have enough people advising him, whether it's at Texas or whether it's with his family, that he's going to feel comfortable making that next move. And when the family wants to make that move, I'm sure they're going to have all the advice and all the proper things to make the steps. But it gives us something to talk about in this very long lead up to the season. And I'm sure it'll give us something to talk about once the season's over. But I just don't care. Like, let that man live his life. And, when he decides to make that move, I'm sure I'll write a story about it and we'll move on to the next quarterback and assessing when he's going to jump to the league. But I'm just not going to lose sleep over when Arch is or isn't going to go to the NFL. Yeah, but if you all want to, knock yourself out. It's not a life I want to live.
Right. I'm with you on that, because he still has to go out there and prove that he is the guy. He's got to prove that he can lead the team. And I appreciate the fact that he's honest about where he is every single time during the interviews. Yeah, I struggled early, but I figured it out. I figured our team has kind of hit their stride now on offense because they're going up against that vaunted Texas defense. And speaking of that, Anthony Hill Jr. Met with the media yesterday, and the conversation, Anthony Hill is one of those guys. He's not going to give you too much, but you understand who he is as a leader. He's got a new haircut, new style, came in focused, but the thing that I like about him is he knows where to give the praise, but he also understands that his defense is getting a lot better. Did you get that from him and Michael Taft yesterday?
Yeah, I feel both those young men are very confident guys. They know how good they are. They also know how important this defense is to this team. I enjoyed Michael kind of ribbing Arch a little bit, but also being a little humble and reminding everyone that Michael Huff gives him grief a lot, that he still has a long way to go before he can talk smack to the OGs. So I think those guys are good leaders. They'll be willing to praise their teammates, but also they know how important they are and what they've got to do to help Texas make that next step this season, which is something we all know as well.
Before I let you go, Danny, I wanted to ask you, as we've been getting closer and closer to this game week, it seems like Coach Sark is starting to become Coach Sark. Like his mindset is getting closer and closer to next week against Ohio State. The mock meetings, and this week is a mock week. We got him after the scrimmage for the first time I think we ever have seen a coach do a post-scrimmage press conference. Do you feel like he's getting to that point of routine is everything for him because he is that type of superstitious guy?
Yeah, I think this is what most schools do. I mean, it's almost game week. You kind of got to get into your routine, not only for yourself, but for your players. Got to get everyone used to. So next week, when school does start and you're preparing for Ohio State, it's not a complete culture shock to those players. So get it done early, get everyone in a routine, get the media in a routine, get your coaching staff and staff in a routine, and next week will go smoothly for everyone.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because the next week when we talk, we'll be a few days away from Ohio State, and you're making that trip to the shoe, so be careful. You know how crazy them people are in Ohio State and Columbus. The stories are true.
This is not the trip I'm worried about. There's a trip in October to Mississippi that I'm a little bit more concerned about than going to Columbus.
I don't blame you, my brother. I don't blame you. There he is, my guy, Danny Davis of the Austin American-Statesman. Make sure you follow him @_ Danny Davis. And Danny, next week, game week, baby. Appreciate you, bro.
Finally here.
There he is, Danny Davis. Coming up next, we're going to continue the conversations. We still have some Coach Sark speak. And at 8 o'clock, we will talk to our guy covering Texas State, Kev Chardello. Cale Gundy at 8:17 in Dallas Cowboys, America's team. Right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Text Texas, followed by your message to 81530 to chat along with your favorite sports radio, AM 1300, The Zone hosts. That's Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply.
From the Odoo.com Traffic Center, Odoo.com, the only business software you will need.
Things are slow this morning on 183 due to a crash at McKenzie Road. Looking onto the service road of 183 going southbound for an accident at McNeil Drive. There's still an accident being cleaned up at the corner of 620 and 2222, as well as a crash on 130 southbound at FM 812. I'm Jason Fossick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Need better sleep? This Labor Day weekend, upgrade to premium sleep at Mattress Firm's best sale of the year. Let their sleep experts match you with the perfect bed and get the rest you deserve. They make sleep easy. Shop Mattress Firm's best sale of the year.
Hey there, local business owner. Ready to make some more money? Whether you own an auto shop or a dinner spot, Valpak Direct Marketing can help you do just that. All bells and whistles are included, so you advertise when and where it counts to reach new customers that spend more. Measurable results, proven reach, zero guesswork. That's Valpak. Visit valpak.com/advertise to see if you qualify for a free mailing. That's VALPAK.com/advertise. Let's grow.
Liz went from being interested in true crime to living true crime.
My husband comes back and he's shaking. And he said, your dad's been killed.
This is Hands Tied, a true crime podcast exploring the murder of Jim Melgar.
I was just completely in shock.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Hands Tied, and listen now.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brad's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where batteries are as low as $89.99. Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Brad is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This Sunday, iHeart presents the Big Three Championship between the Miami 305 and the Chicago Triplets. This epic fight for the title pits Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson against Montrezl Harrell. In their regular season meeting, Montrezl exploded for 28 points and dominated the Chicago win. Can Beasley and crew win the rematch when it counts the most? The action starts with the Big Three's 8th annual All-Star Game, featuring Dwight Howard, Greg Monroe, Jordan Crawford, Jonathan Simmons, and more. The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific on CBS.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for top quality permanent fencing for your home or business? Look no further than Viking Fence. With over 50 years of experience in Central Texas, Viking Fence delivers craftsmanship you can trust. Whether you need wood, iron, or a custom solution, Viking has the perfect fence to fit your needs. What sets Viking Fence apart? They source the finest quality Western red cedar lumber direct from the mill, the most durable and attractive fence material available. Plus, they offer 3 grades of fence pickets to meet every budget. So whether you want Viking to install your fence or you're taking on the project yourself, call Viking Fence today. They pride themselves on excellent work, outstanding service, and an honest reputation. Call 512-601-8911 for a free estimate. That's 512-601-8911. Or visit VikingFence.com/radio. That's VikingFence.com/radio for your free estimate today. When you think fence, think Viking.
Get the Apple Leasing Advantage today. Visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KDET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, your home for the Horns.
Great stuff by our guy, David Davis of the Austin American State. You can care less. Archer and our kid. We're going to see what happens. We'll let him do what he do, and we'll see how it all is. Great stuff out there. Right now is the time for you to win a pair of tickets to go see Pantera, September the 2nd at the Canadian Insurance Amphitheater. All you got to do is download that on that free iHeart Radio app. If you hadn't already done it, that's number 1 as your preset. Tap that red microphone and leave the keyword of the day. Power. Power is the keyword of the day. For a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Pantera, September the 2nd at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater. Make sure you tune in to the Craig Way Show this afternoon with Craig Way and Kenneth Parker. Bring it to you and give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see someone else as well. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we have, Kev Tardello to talk all things Texas State as the Bobcats play their last season in their conference and head out west to the Pac-12. We also have Cale Gundy talking to us about Oklahoma and the expectations of the Sooners this season. But right now, I want to get into the conversation about tackling. That's right. You remember at one point, Mac Brown used to say tackling is an epidemic in America. They couldn't tackle, people couldn't tackle, and it's been a frustrating part about it. But he's not the only coach to ever talk about that. Coaches talk about this all the time. And Coach Sark was asked after 2 scrimmages, how's the tackling this season?
Yeah, I thought last week might have been a little better than today, just from the naked eye, right? Field level. And I got to see, how maybe and what and why maybe a couple of the missed tackles occurred. I felt like today the ball got in space a little more, which forced some more stressful tackles on the defenders, which is a good thing, right? And we got to learn how to do those things. But I also thought there were some very good tackles made that were a couple of them touchdown saving tackles that forced the offense to have to go execute in the red area. So in the end, we got to find our opportunities to tackle. We got to do a great job in our individual periods of working on tackling. There's only so much we can tackle to get ourselves ready to go. But again, that's you ask any head coach around the country, that's the first thing out of their mouth of what's your biggest concern going into week one is how well are we going to tackle? Because we all can only do it so much, right? For the betterment of the team.
And you think about it, I mean, that is one of those statements that I'm not going to lie. When Mac Brown said it at first, I was like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Tackling football. You've been playing football since you were a kid. But you start to understand that a lot of people don't know how to tackle anymore. They're either coming up and trying to go through somebody, throwing their head down and just trying to knock their legs out from them, not wrapping up. But you start to understand that, yeah, it is something that needs to be taught every single season. And Coach Sark was asked not too long ago, who are some of the best tacklers on the football team?
Oh man, I think Jelani is a fantastic tackler. He's got range, he's got speed, he's got size to get people on the ground. I think Anthony is a fantastic tackler. I think he's really taken another step in the open field of what he does there, tackling in the open space. I think Derek Williams, another fantastic tackler, having him back out there. I'd say those three jump right off the top. I'd say Anthony Smith is another very good tackler as well. So those guys all kind of jump out at me, just kind of the first 3 or 4 names.
Anthony forcing himself.
He's playing really good. I'm really proud of Anthony. He's really grown up, not only on the field, but off the field. And you can see the level of maturity on the field, his intent every day at practice. He's not the biggest guy, but the physicality that he plays with and the speed he plays with definitely shows up.
It's interesting to me about that is Ty Anthony's name continues to pop up. He's just like Day-Day McCutcheon, who we talked about the other day. And we'll hear more about those guys when we hear Arch a little bit later. But you also get a chance to understand that the fundamental part of the game is the most important part. You being able to go make tackles and continue to make plays as a part of this defense or a part of this offense changes the dynamics of where Texas is trying to go. We talk a lot about the depth and where Texas has created depth. And it's all across the board when you sit back and you think about it. What Texas has been able to do with the quarterback position, with the ability of a threat to run. You look at the depth in the running back room. Let's go back to the quarterback room because of the fact that you bring in a KJ Lacey from Alabama. You had Trey Owens, and then you bring in Matthew Caldwell, another quarterback. And in your recruiting classes, you're getting 5-star players. Then you go back and you look at that running back room. Yes, there were some adjustments that needed to be made because of injury last year. But through the injury, you created more depth because more people got an opportunity to rep those plays. Look at what Jaden Blue was able to do. Now Jaden Blue is playing in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys and getting his opportunity this weekend. You also go and look at that offensive line. The offensive line, each step of the way. And I still repeat this to anybody that wants to listen and they say, oh, man, the Texas offensive line is so good. I said, do you remember when Coach Sark got here, they created that pancake factory, and he said, we have to go get big humans. That was from day one. This is a culmination of what his plan was when he walked on the campus of the University of Texas. He said, we have to get bigger. He planned this from the day he got here to that first year in the SEC, That is why Texas was able to play in the SEC. People can look at it in so many different ways and try to make themselves sound so much better about their feelings about it. He started that when he walked into the classroom, the weight room, and the food room and said, we have to get bigger. And that's exactly what they did. And that is how you develop talent. Hour number 1 is in the books. Coming up in hour number 2, we will talk to our guy. You know who it is. Kev Chardello, as he gets ready to tell us about Texas State and what they're doing down in Slam Marcus right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone. Mark, I saw your car the other day. That license plate said world's strongest. Are you serious?
You got a problem with that? I'm the world's strongest man. It fits.
Fits? Man, the only thing that fits is your plate frame struggling to hold on to all them letters.
It's better than yours, fast guy. You run a 27-minute mile, Mike. That ain't fast. That's like a slow walk.
Hey, man, what are you talking about? Okay. That's the beauty of my plates. You can make it all yours, whether it's the team logo, your favorite nickname, you got some jokes, whatever is your style.
True. Mine gets respect on the highway, and yours gets giggles.
Man, why are you making fun of me, man? But guess what? It's a win-win for everybody. Don't go out there driving an ABC 123 on your license plate. Get a real one. All you got to do is go to myplates.com today. That's myplates.com. Use the promo code The Zone at myplates.com.
This Sunday, iHeart presents the Big Three Championship between the Miami 305 and the Chicago Triplets. This epic fight for the title pits Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson against Montrezl Harrell. In their regular season meeting, Montrezl exploded for 28 points and dominated the Chicago win. Can Beasley and crew win the rematch when it counts the most? The action starts with the Big Three's 8th annual All-Star Game, featuring Dwight Howard, Greg Monroe, Jordan Crawford, Jonathan Simmons, and more. The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific on CBS.
If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough. They're lightweight. They're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell Pickleball Shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell Pickleball Shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again. Because more people are listening to the radio on iHeart today than they were 20 years ago. And only iHeart Broadcast Radio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, social, any other media. Even twice as many teens than TikTok. And that reach means everything. Just think about the universal marketing formula. The number of consumers who hear your message times the response rate equals the results. Now let's get those results growing for your business. Radio's here now more than ever, and iHeart's leading the way. Think radio can help your business? Think iHeart. Streaming, podcasting, and radio, where the reach is real. Let us show you at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com. Or call 844-844-iHeart. One more time, just call 844-844-iHeart and get radio working for you.
Live radio, trusted DJs, breaking news, live play-by-play, endless music, and podcasts just for you. It's the free iHeartRadio app. Radio your way. Join the millions who already have it. Download the free iHeartRadio app, the #1 app for radio.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KDET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app.
The morning kickoff. The morning kickoff.
It's the morning kickoff with Mike Hardball Hardge and the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry, on your home for the Horns, 1300 The Zone.
10 days away from Texas taking on Ohio State right here on the morning kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone, your home for Texas football. And hour number 1, we got a chance to hear from Arch Manning talking about the team and the lead up. And we also got a chance to hear from Coach Sark. Coming up in the next segment, we'll talk to Cale Gundy as he breaks down the Oklahoma Sooners. But right now, we want to go down to Slam Marcus and talk to our guy, Kev Cardello, to talk a lot about Texas State, the expectations, and of course, I just got to check and see how long he's going to let his hair grow. Kev, what's happening, my man?
Hey, I've been eating those vitamins, so it's getting nice and lush, getting nice and long for you. But I'm doing great this morning. Always happy to talk about the Bobcats. Appreciate you fellas having me on.
No problem. Let's get right into it. This is an interesting year for the Bobcats. Last year in their conference, and now they are making that move to the Pac-12, an exciting time in San Marcos, leaving the Sun Belt and the Fun Belt, as we like to call it. But now it's let's get down to football. We've already done all the off-the-field stuff. Now let's get down to football and talk about G.J. Kinney and the team and the expectations for this season.
Yeah, the year 3 for G.J. Kinney here in San Marcos. The first 2 years, it was pretty great, at least by Texas State standards. He elevated the program to a winning record, 7 wins in the regular season the last 2 years, ended it with a bowl win at the end of those years, so 8 wins the last 2 seasons. It's going to be a tough road due to how many players they lost in the transfer portal or graduated or what have you. They have reloaded in the transfer portal with around 50 or so players, so they still have that depth. It's just a lot of players you haven't seen on tape. And then more importantly, at the quarterback position, Brad Jackson, we're looking at a redshirt freshman there that's going to be starting at quarterback, likely going to be starting. They haven't officially announced him, but it's looking like he's going to take over. And he's a young guy. He's talented. We saw him run a little bit last season, a little bit of throwing, but not nearly as much running when he would get out there. He scored 4 touchdowns in 3 games on the ground. So it's going to be interesting to see if his arm can propel this offense. They have this offense, this vertical choice offense that is very much dependent on the quarterback and his decision-making, deciding, okay, I'm going to run the ball, I'm going to pass it deep, things like that. They put that in the quarterback's hands. So it being in the hands of a young quarterback after being in the hands of experienced quarterbacks last couple years, that's going to be really interesting. But that being said, they have a little bit of an easier schedule than they did last year. It was a bit of a weird schedule with 4 weekday games. They only have one. They only have one this year, a Tuesday game against JMU. So it'll be a little calmer, I think, for Brad Jackson in his first season as a starter.
I wanted to ask about Lincoln Parr. He's the guy that came over when Jake Spavital was there. He's dealt with some injuries, but now he's back. What does he bring to this team? I know besides experience to kind of help calm the new quarterback situation down.
Yeah, I mean, that leadership is a very calming just to be around someone who's been with this program for 4 seasons now. He spent his first year at Arkansas State, and then he transferred in Sun Belt to Texas State 4 years ago. His first year here, he led the team in rushing, and then right when G.J. Kinney got here, he tore his ACL, so he missed that first year. He was able to come back last year, be a part of the rotation. Now it feels like he's going to be the bell cow, if there is a bell cow in this offense. They like to use a lot of running backs, but he'll at least be the starter, the team captain coming into his senior year. He brings so much importance. Obviously, the experience is very important, but on the field, he can do it. I mean, the last touchdown the Bobcats scored was by Lincoln Perry running, I think it was 60 yards in that bowl game for a touchdown. So the guy can move. And like I said, when he was a sophomore, he led this team in rushing before in 2022. So he brings a lot. I think they're gonna run the ball a lot more this season than we've seen in years past. There was just an article that came out that had Texas State as the heaviest offensive line in the nation. That's against P4s. Yeah, P4s and everybody. The Bobcats were 11.5 pounds heavier than the closest team by weight average. So they have a big offensive line. They have a young quarterback who likes the run, and they have a stable of running backs starting with Lincoln Perry, Greg Burrell, who just transferred over from UNLV. They're bringing back some guys like Torrance Burgess and Jalen Jenkins. They just got another running back, Tajee Atkins. They got him in late July. He was Rice's running back. So they have a stable of running backs, so I think it's going to look a little different running this ball this coming season, and Lincoln Perry is going to be the forefront of that.
Well, it's kind of interesting that you say that because your offense was ranked 7th in scoring last year at 36.5 points per game and 5th in total offense with 476 yards per game. And now you got a new offensive coordinator. Your previous offensive coordinator has gone to Texas Tech, and now you're trying to elevate a guy from within. How is that working so far? I know you get a chance to go and watch some of the practices. Does everything look like it's continuing to mesh?
Landon Keppel, that's the new OC. We got to see him in the bowl game. He took over when Mac Leftwich left for Texas Tech. He was able to coach in the bowl game. And even in that bowl game, it seemed a little bit more reserved. In spring and even into the fall, it seems like they're still holding back a little bit. There's a little bit of timid nature, but I think that's just a nature of the beast whenever you're transitioning hands on who's calling the plays, because Mac Leftwich called the plays. GJ Kinney, he has veto power. He can go in there and be like, no, we're going to do this. But at the end of the day, it was Mac Leftwich. And it seems like now it's going to be more of a 50-50 split. So it's going to be interesting to see that cohesion and how that goes. But GJ Kinney and Landon Keppel, they go back all the way to when GJ Kinney was co-OC at Hawaii. They've known each other a long time. He's been a part of GJ Kinney's staff for a while. So he does know this offense really well. But that is another interesting thing with a new quarterback, a new OC, and new play caller. There's a lot of newness, so it's hard to hang it on like, oh, this team, they're gonna run the table. There's gonna be some bumps in the road. I think they're still talented enough to be a winning team, but it is going to be a little bumpier. Probably won't be leading the Sun Belt in scoring like we saw the last 2 years, but I think they'll still be in the 30s.
So I wanted to ask you this. Let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, you want to make sure defense wins championships, and at least you want to be considered into that type of realm of it. But you talked about the transfers. There seems to be a lot of transfers on the defensive side of the ball this season.
Oh, yeah. And you know, if anything, I'm probably more excited personally about the defense than I am the offense. I just think it's the second year for Dexter McCoyle. He's the defensive coordinator there. He's a really young coach. I think it's just his 4th year coaching overall after 9 years playing professional ball. Now he's the DC. And many people don't realize that the defense improved in many areas last year. Jonathan Patke was the defensive coordinator the first year of GJ Kinney in 2023. And the defense was fantastic. They were 3rd in the nation in tackles for a loss. They were right up there in sacks as well. This is very much a defense that it's a 4-2-5 set, and they pin their ears back and they go after the quarterback. That's the philosophy of this defense, is if the quarterback is on his backside, then he can't beat you. So they go after the quarterback all the time. And that's something that I think Dexter McCoyle has really taken to heart. Now they lost a lot of guys in transfer portal themselves. Specifically on the interior defensive line. That was a big area, but they went out there. Coach Mike OG, he's the D-line coach at Texas State, fantastic recruiter. Matthew Gregg, the corners coach, he's a fantastic recruiter. And they went out, like I was saying, around 50 transfers and high school recruits they brought in for this 2025 class. So they were able to retool a lot of players, specifically on that D-line. I think of like JP Dieter coming over from Arizona State. There's just going to be a lot of really good players that are going to pop up. Charlie Leota, he was a JUCO player, but he's 350 pounds on that D line. They were able to get some really big guys, tall corners as well. Kamari Terrell, corners coming over from Oregon. He's looking really good. Jaden Lawton just showed up to fall camp, and he had something like 35 offers, a bunch of them from P4s. So they were able to go out and get some real players. And I think with so much newness on the offense, like we went over, this team's going to have to lean on the defense. I think for the first time in the G.J. Kinney era at Texas State, probably in the first time in his coaching career, going back to Incarnate Word when they had that incredible offense, they're going to have to lean on that defense. They have the players to do it. They have the most experience coaching-wise and player-wise on that defense. So I'm actually really excited about the Texas State defense. I think they're going to be right up there, top 10 in the nation, tackles for a loss like they've been the last 2 years.
Man, that's interesting. We're talking to Kev Chardello. You can follow him at Kev_C. He's in charge of the creator and the host of Win Now or Get Bent podcast. Kev, before we let you go, I'm looking at this schedule, and you said it's a very unique schedule as far as not having those Tuesday night games, those weekday games. You open the season next weekend against Eastern Michigan. Then you go to UTSA, to Arizona State. Then you're back home against Nichols. If you had to pick your druthers, what is the final record for this last season in the Sun Belt Conference?
The entire record, non-conference and conference. I just did a prediction on my podcast. Thanks for shouting it out. When Now or Get Bent, and I have them at 9-3. I feel like it's an overly optimistic prediction because I do feel like this defense is much better than it's looked. I would say 9-3 is the ceiling where they could be. 6-6 is the floor. I don't think this is a losing team. The offense isn't going to have the fireworks like it's had in years past, but it's still going to be sustainable. And I think they're going to have to really rely on this defense. But 9-3 regular season for me. I don't know if that gets them into the Sun Belt Championship, but it would be nice. Their last year in the Sun Belt, go into the Sun Belt Championship and win it out. But it's going to be a tough one. We'll see.
I promise you it's not going to be for a lack of support because you do a great job. You keep everybody informed, and you are boots on the ground when it comes to Texas State. So I appreciate you taking the time. This isn't the last time, brother. We're going to continue this, and we're going to continue to talk about Texas State because you guys are doing something special down there, and I know you've been at the forefront for it.
I appreciate that, Mike. I appreciate you always having me on. It's always great to talk some Bobcats with you, man. I know you're a great Texas State appreciator. You and Ty Harrington go way back. So it's
That's right.
I know you appreciate the Bobcats more than most.
That's right. I appreciate you for taking the time today, man, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. There he is, my man, Kev Chardello. Make sure you get over to Win Now or Get Bent podcast. You can follow it on social media, and you can also follow him at Kev_C. Coming up next, we're going north of the Red River and talk to my guy, Kel Gundy, about the Oklahoma Sooners right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
The voice of the Horns, Craig Way on 1300 The Zone, weekdays at 2.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
There's an accident on Highway 290 heading westbound at FM 973, causing a 10-minute backup that starts from FM 1100. There's also a 10-minute out-of-your drive-through congestion on Mopac southbound between Shoreline Drive down to Loop 360, as well as stop and go on I-35 northbound going from Onion Creek Parkway up to William Cannon. I'm Jason Fossick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off, free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Did you miss the Bitcoin wagon? Millions got rich because they got in on a technology you still don't understand. But the crypto gang got greedy, handing control of the Bitcoin network to China. This carelessness gives us a second chance called Texit Coin. You're invited in on the Texit Coin journey. We'll guide you through this new frontier to claim your share of the profits. Don't let your friends get rich without you. Secure your seat as we take Texit Coin to the moon and beyond. Learn more at texitcoin.org. This is an investment that carries risk. Texitcoin.org.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating. Keep celebrating when you bundle and save with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
After 48 years, Factory Mattress is going out of business forever. Over $15 million worth of world-class mattress brands must be sold immediately. Up to 80% off at Austin and San Antonio's largest independent mattress retailer. Everything must go, right down to the bare walls. Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and Stearns & Foster. No interest financing is still available. The Factory Mattress going out of business sale is happening now at all 14 locations. Don't miss it.
iHeart presents the Big Three Basketball Championship and 8th Annual All-Star Game. Miami 305's Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson taking on Montrezl Harrell and Dr. J's Chicago Triplets for the title. Plus Dwight Howard, Greg Monroe, and more. CBS Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
It's Bud Light's countdown to kickoff on 1300 The Zone.
We went down south to San Marcos. Now let's go north of the Red River and talk to my guy, Cale Gundy of the Sports Animal in Oklahoma. And Cale, first off, good to talk to you, my friend. It's been a minute. I'm glad to catch up with you.
All is good. It's always good to get on and talk a little ball and chop it up a little bit with you. So I'm glad I'm here today.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, let's get right into it. Year four of Brent Venables being back as the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners. Obviously, the first couple seasons has not gone the way that the Sooners fan had hoped, but there's some change that is happening. You got yourself a quarterback, and if anybody knows anything about quarterbacks, it will be you. Off the field issues have been arise, but on the field, there's no doubt that your quarterback, John Mater, is one of the best in the country.
Yeah, and he's going to have some magic this year, and that's one of the big points of this football team this season. Like you mentioned, Coach Venables was 6-7, 10-3, and 6-7, and that ain't going to fly around here. About one more year of that, and that'll be a wrap. So, but there's been some change. Obviously, last year with this football team, lots of injuries on the offensive side of football. The defense was solid. And I think they just kind of ran out of gas as the season went along because the offense was so depleted. And, defensively, I think they just knew they weren't going to get much out of the offense game in and game out. But this year, bringing in Ben Arbuckle, the new offensive coordinator, who's a West Texas guy, come from Washington State, and Coach Arbuckle bringing his quarterback, John Mateer. There's some new life. John is a exciting player. I really like him as a young man. I like him as a ball player. I think he has it. Now, what will that translate to? Will that mean one more win, two more wins, 3, 4? It's yet to see. They got to stay healthy. The offensive line struggled tremendously last year. They've got a bunch of those guys back who have gotten better, who I believe was one of the best offensive line coaches in Bill Bedenbaugh in the country. They've got a handful of running backs. They went out in the transfer portal and got some wide receivers, some skill players. So it'll be interesting. Again, everybody's just, it's hot around here. I know it's hot in Austin, but it was the hottest day of the year last year. I heard there might even been a player or two fall out. I went to practice yesterday for 10 minutes, Mike, and it was so hot. I said, the hell with this. I left. But the hotter you get, the more rumors you get, the more excited Oklahoma fans get, and we can do this, we can do that. But once you roll in that SEC, you better pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. You mentioned the transfers, and one of those transfers is, I haven't heard lately, hopefully he's feeling okay, is Jaden Ott, the running back that had transferred in, and he's somebody that they're expecting a lot from. And is it too much to ask of a player and the quarterback as well for them to turn that offensive firepower in to Oklahoma?
Well, it's, and you understand this. I mean, everybody's got to do their job.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if the offensive line can be good, can be solid, it will allow John Mateer, it will allow the running backs, it will allow this system to get the ball in the hands of some receivers. They will be better. So it all starts with that offensive line. Again, you mentioned Jay Knott, who they brought in from Cal, who 2 years ago in 23 had a great season out there. Last year did not have as good a season. Some people said he was injured. And I'll be honest with you, Mike, his name, he was talked about a bunch. He hasn't been talked about as much the last 2 weeks.
Right.
There's some other guys. And there's a young man who's a true freshman, and I'm going to get to that. But let's go back to Jay Knott from Cal. He's had a little dinged-up shoulder, hadn't been practicing that much. So not sure if he's going to be that guy. The most talked about, I'm going to give you 3 names. And I don't know how these young men what kind of season they will have this year as true freshmen. But the 3 most talked about names besides John Mateer on the Oklahoma football team this year have been 3 freshmen from Texas. Torrey Blaylock, running back, Houston. Michael Fasusi, offensive lineman, Louisville. Cortland Guillory, defensive back, Houston. Those are 3 freshmen that their names on the streets have been talked about as much as anything. And again, how productive can they be as true freshmen? But these guys, as true freshmen, all from the state of Texas, have had a great camp.
And the one thing that I want to talk to you, we're talking to Kel Gundy of the Sports Animal in Oklahoma. He is one of the former offensive coordinators for the Oklahoma Sooners and former quarterback as well. He understands what ball is supposed to look like. And when he tells you that there's some freshmen that are making noise, that is clutch for Oklahoma. Because the one thing that I've always said about Oklahoma, obviously coming into Texas, getting those players brings a little bit more, but they've always recruited well. But now, with everything that's going on, going into the SEC, do you feel the recruiting has changed a lot, and that's why he's had to go out and get so many transfers in the transfer portal?
Yeah, you got to have depth in the SEC, as you know. Again, I've said this, obviously, playing at Oklahoma a long time ago, coaching there for almost 23 years, everybody always knew about the SEC. And the SEC really came on in the late 2010s is when they really started to be something special. When I was at OU from 99 to 22, but in the early 2000s, SEC football wasn't what it is now. It has really made huge strides. So you got to recruit differently. Your defensive linemen, you can't have defensive linemen playing in the SEC that are weighing 280, 290 pounds. You can't. They have to weigh 315, 330, 340. Same with the offensive linemen. You can't have offensive linemen that weigh 300, 310. They need to be weighing 325, 330. It's a different, they're different body types. So they have had to make a change, and Coach Venables has done that. They have done a tremendous job building their players across the board. I think they only have one defensive lineman who's under 300 pounds now, and I'm talking about defensive tackles, who's under 300 pounds, and it was because he came in as a defensive end at 250, and he's weighing about 290 now. The same with the offensive line. Their guys are 315 to 325 pounds now, so you got to recruit differently, and then you got to have that depth. If you don't, and that's what takes. I think takes what Texas has done so good is they have not only gone out and got some really, really good players, but they've acquired depth in case one or two guys go down. They're coming in with the same style and the same type of body types to play in the Southeastern Conference.
No doubt. Kel, before we let you go, I wanted to ask you this. I mean, you talked about it. There's some things that you can do at Oklahoma, and there's some things you can't do. You can't consistently have a bad product on the field, number one. Number two, you can't lose the games that you should be winning and putting your team in a stressful situation. If you had to pick what this season is going to look like, what would be your prediction of the Oklahoma Sooners record?
Well, Mike, the couple things I think they got going for them. One, they play 7 home games. That's a bunch. That helps. And secondly, compared to last season you had the Southeastern Conference had some veteran, very good quarterbacks. There's not as many of those guys this year. You've got a lot of programs that are having new quarterbacks step out on the field for the first time that have to be the guy. And I'm not talking about coming in and playing sparingly, coming in and a few snaps in a game here and there, but I mean, having to be the dude now. So that, I think that plays a role and plays a factor in the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, everybody tells me I'm a bit of a homer to the Oklahoma Sooners. But most people look at me like I've got 3 eyes on my forehead. I have them winning 9 games this season. I know the over-under is somewhere around 7.5. And if you would have started having this conversation back in about April or May, everybody would have said about 7. But, as the season goes along, like I said, every day gets a little hotter. So the more rumors start to get flowing, people think that they're going to win a few more games here and there. And, the sunshine starts to pump a little bit. People probably raise their expectations. At the end of the day, you're playing the Southeastern Conference, and it's challenging. So, but I have them going 9-3 this year. Like I said, most people around here are more around 7 to 8 wins. 3 things that have to happen for this team. Mateer has to have some magic. The offensive line has to be solid, and the defensive front 7 for the Sooners have to dominate and be one of the top defenses in the country for them to win 9 games.
I love it, though. You're not by yourself. There's a lot of folks that seem to think that they will be the surprise team this season as the expectations continue to grow. Once the season starts, you know I'm going to be reaching out to you. We'll have you on right before that Oklahoma and Texas matchup at the Cotton Bowl. You know how important that is. But we got to get this season started on Saturday, man. So best of luck to you, and I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
As always, good talking to my guy, Cale Gundy. Very optimistic for the Oklahoma Sooners. Coming up next, I watched a documentary the other day. Yes, the Cowboys were part of it, but I also watched another one that used to be the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk about it right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
From the Odoo.com Traffic Center, Odoo.com, the only business software you will need.
One of the middle lanes is blocked off by an accident on I-35 southbound at East 51st Street, causing a 10-minute backup that starts from 183. There's still a crash on 290 westbound at FM 973, and there's about a 15-minute add to your commute this morning due to congestion on Mopac northbound between Slaughter Lane over to Loop 360. I'm Jason Fossig with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Hardge here. School's back in session, so let's make sure your ride is ready. At Cover Chevy in Hutto, it's not just about the vehicle, it's about the people riding with you. Get $14,000 off MSRP on a new 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 RST or $6,000 off of MSRP on a new 2025 Chevy Tahoe Premier. Start the school year strong with Covert Chevy, Highway 79 in Hutto, or shop covertchevyhutto.com. Together, let's drive.
It's almost time for kickoff. Brought to you by Bud Light.
Breaks a tackle, 30, turns down the sidelines. Say goodnight to this one. Touchdown, Texas.
Listen to every play, every touchdown, every win on 1300 The Zone.
Fires for the end zone. It's intercepted. Kickoff. This ball game is over.
Today's countdown is
10 days.
Presented by Bud Light all season long on the free iHeartRadio app.
This Sunday, iHeart presents the Big Three Championship between the Miami 305 and the Chicago Triplets in the most physical, fierce, and competitive basketball league in the world. This epic fight for the Big Three Championship title pits two-time MVP Michael Beasley and Big Three Fourth Man of the Year Lance Stevenson against trash-talking Rookie of the Year Montrezl Harrell. In their regular season meeting, Montrezl exploded for 28 points and dominated for the Chicago win. Can Beasley and crew win the rematch and triumph when it counts the most? The action starts with the Big Three's 8th annual All-Star Game, featuring Dwight Howard, Greg Monroe, Jordan Crawford, Jonathan Simmons, Glenn Rice Jr., Frank Nitti, Earl Clark, Deshaun Stevens, Corey Brewer, and more. No phoning it in the Big Three. This is an all-star game where the stars show up to battle. The 2025 Big Three Championship and annual All-Star Game. The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific on CBS.
Yay, yay!
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Your Austin weather, scattered thunderstorms for your Wednesday afternoon, a high of 98. Could see a stray shower or storm tonight, a low of 76. Thursday, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-90s.
This report is sponsored by Abacus Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electrical in 20628.
Electrical problems are a warning. Flickering lights, warm switches, bulbs burning out too soon all need attention. I trust Abacus licensed electricians. Their years of experience make an electrical problem no problem. No wonder they say Abacus. You can count on us.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like New Metal Radio. Featuring old-school heavy alternative from Korn, Linkin Park, Nine Inch Nails, System of a Down, and more. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search in New Metal Radio, and make it your next preset.
Wake up with Hardge and Henry in the morning kickoff on 1300 The Zone.
Great this hour by Kevin. We're talking about Texas State. He has them going 9-3. And Kel Gundy talking about the Oklahoma Sooners going 9-3 as well. Steep numbers by all those Blue shall see football season. All of this we'll get focused on what the expectations are. Speaking of expectations, I got a chance to watch a couple of documentaries here recently. I've been watching the Buffalo Bills and what they've been able to do, how things are starting to roll for them, the expectations of the season coming into it as Super Bowl or bust. They really want the Super Bowl. But one of the other things that continues to be part of the conversation is I got a chance to watch The Kingdom with the Kansas City Chiefs as they went on their run and learning a lot about the story of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and how people thought it was a rouge and now all of a sudden, as Mark would say, a gimmick. Well, now it is a real thing and people are really bought in, and the Taylor Swift effect has taken over because now the dynamics and the breakdown of all the people that are watching football has been outstanding. So kudos to them. But I got a chance to watch the documentary yesterday, parts of it. I think we watched three or four episodes yesterday of the Dallas Cowboys from start, Jerry Jones, the process, where they were, how he bought it, the moves that he had to make. As I said earlier, there was a point where he was looking to borrow money from Jimmy Hoffa to take this risk and become an owner of an NFL franchise. He found an oil derrick and went out there, started drilling, and boom, $100 million. You just bought yourself a football team, and it just happens to be the Dallas Cowboys. To the firing of Tom Landry, the running out of Tex Schramm, it was awesome. The struggles, the draft picks, the Herschel Walker trade, and how they got to become America's team again. But as I was watching this, those risks, those rewards, those opportunities, they changed a lot. His philosophies changed. Jimmy Johnson was sick. When I say sick, I'm talking about he divorced his wife to become the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys because one thing that Jimmy hated the most was losing. We got a chance to see Michael Irvin from start to where he is today. And Michael Irvin felt that same way that Jimmy did about wanting to win. And sometimes in sports, you become accustomed to a certain way of life. You forget that when Jerry bought the Dallas Cowboys, they were not America's team. They were about to lose that moniker because of the way that they were playing. Michael comes in, energetic, wild, fired up. The old heads was like, nah, young fella, take it easy. The reason why the old fellas was taking it easy because they knew they were on their way out and they had done all they could do. But they were still America's team. America. But I go back to some of the thoughts of where the Cowboys are right now. And that brash, arrogant, gunslinger of a owner or president or GM or whatever he wanted to be called at that time had a little different mindset than what it was before. Jimmy Johnson, he was the guy to really get it going. But I want you to hear this comment from Jerry Jones talking to Stephen Jones. And I think this is where the Cowboys are, that we are still on the outside looking in from all those years.
First of all, you can't have a coach that's not on the same page with you. I don't believe in the technical X and O aspect of it.
See, I used to believe more it was the charisma, and then now I'm more convinced that it is the X's and O's and the technical.
Let me tell you something. What Steven just said is where we lost Jimmy Johnson. Is why we lost Bill Parcells. People that were serious about the job, sick to the point where there was nothing else besides winning and being focused on the X's and O's. I consider that charisma. I consider that knowing what the X's and the O's are. That is why the Cowboys are in the situation that they are in. And I know we still got season to play, but right now, watching the Cowboys and watching the glory days, the gambler and America's team, I need that person back. Coming up, we're going to close out the show and send you to Dan Patrick. Major League Baseball has an issue, and I'm having to agree with the possibility of the changes that are there. Right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
The Craig Way Show, weekdays at 2.
From the Odoo.com Traffic Center, Odoo.com, the only business software you'll need.
One of the middle lanes is blocked off by an accident on I-35 southbound at East 51st Street, causing a 10-minute backup that starts from 183. There's still a crash on 290 westbound at FM 973, and there's about a 15-minute add to your commute this morning due to congestion on Mopac northbound between Slaughter Lane over to Loop 360. I'm Jason Fossig with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
iHeart presents the Big Three Basketball Championship and 8th Annual All-Star Game. Miami 305's Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson taking on Montrezl Harrell and Dr. J's Chicago Triplets for the title. Plus Dwight Howard, Greg Monroe, and more. CBS Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific.
Liz went from being interested in true crime to living true crime.
My husband comes back and he's shaking. And he said, your dad's been killed.
This is Hands Tied, a true crime podcast exploring the murder of Jim Melgar.
I was just completely in shock.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Hands Tied, and listen now.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey there, local business owner. Ready to make some more money? Whether you own an auto shop or a dinner spot, Valpak Direct Marketing can help you do just that. All bells and whistles are included, so you advertise when and where it counts to reach new customers that spend more. Measurable results, proven reach, zero guesswork. That's Valpak. Visit valpak.com/advertise to see if you qualify for a free mailing. That's VALPAK.com/advertise. Let's grow.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Get the Apple Leasing Advantage today. Visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. We cover all 40 acres.
A steady part of the show. Get over to the podcast page. We'll have that up here shortly. Great interviews all day from Danny Davis, Kev Shardella, and Kel Gundy breaking down for Kel Gundy, Oklahoma, 9-3. Kev Shardella for Texas State, 9-3. And, of course, Danny Davis. No prediction yet because Texas football starts next week, and we'll be in game week starting next week. Also starting next week, we'll have some new segments that I think will be a lot of fun for everyone that is involved. Tomorrow we'll have Eric Henry of Orange 247 football. Mark Henry will be back on the show as well. A lot going on as we get closer and closer to kickoff. We'll have more conversations about the Dallas Cowboys as well. But right now, I want to get into this conversation about Major League Baseball. That's right. Major League Baseball is hot and heavy as we go right now. And one of the stories that came out yesterday was about Fox Sports MLB. And one of the stories was about realignment, the possibility of realignment in Major League Baseball. And a lot of people, like my man Marcus, are traditionalists. They're purists when it comes to the game and certain things. I'm not going to put it on everything for them, but there is an opportunity for realignment in baseball. And the potential major league realignment is the NL Midwest would be Chicago Cubs, Chicago White Sox, St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cincinnati Reds. The AL Northeast would be the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox, and the Phillies. NL Central, Colorado, Kansas City, Texas, and the Houston Astros. AL Mid-Atlantic, it would be Orioles, Washington Nationals, Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Cleveland Guardians. AL Great Lakes, Minnesota Twins, Detroit Tigers, Milwaukee Brewers, Toronto Blue Jays. AL Southeast, Atlanta Braves, Miami Marlins, Tampa Bay Rays, and a competitive team. I don't know what the heck that is. They're going to add another team. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But you go back to the NL Central, you have, as I said, the Rockies, the Royals, Rangers, Astros. NL Southwest, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Angels, and the Diamondbacks. And the NL Northwest, the Seattle Mariners, the A's, Las Vegas at that point, San Francisco Giants, and another competitive team. So for me, as I look at this, and I'm talking about realignment and the possibility of expansion, all are going to be complete to help complete this. The one thing that I was talking to Marcus about is in soccer, in the European leagues and the Premier Leagues, if your team is not considered competitive, and this year there's multiple teams that you could consider not competitive. But if your team is not competitive, I think they should bring in regulation. You should be regulated to a lower league. And if you're a great AAA team or you've done some things, there should be an opportunity to bring in other teams. Now, I know that sounds crazy in so many different instances because this year's team that may not get to a certain number is a team that's probably been good for the last couple of years, but now they're being penalized. But if you look at what the Colorado Rockies have become this season, you cannot tell me that they actually care about winning. And the competitive nature of the sport needs to be protected.
I think the whole competitive team thing another team thing, I think they was thinking expansion to Portland and Charlotte. Those are two teams. But I love this
Maybe
idea.
Even Nashville.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nashville is a possibility.
Yeah.
But I think I like the regulation idea. I like the idea of moving teams out of, I guess you can say, a higher bracket score to a lower bracket. But then you need more than just a couple of teams. You need a lot more teams that you need to add into Major League Baseball to have a somewhat kind of a league for regulation to move teams up and down. But yeah, that would make it very competitive because then when you're on a lower seed, you're making less money. You want to get up there where the big money is. So you want to get into the higher bracket pool.
I know my boy Gino is going to be mad at me, but the Chicago White Sox over the last couple of years have been a team that does not seem to be competitive. I know that they are, but they are 45-81. You look at the Colorado Rockies, 36-90. You're showing up to the ballpark knowing you're losing. as opposed to showing up to the ballpark and thinking that you actually have a chance at winning. At one point, they were in single digits, so I'll give them some love because they are competing right now. But the competitive spirit of the game, and you look at the Dodgers, they're spending money. You look at the Brewers, one of the teams that we don't talk enough about. They lost 2 games in a row after winning 15 or 14 in a row. And now people are, uh-oh, are they about to? No, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be just fine. It's just part of baseball. But then you look at the Phillies, they'll spend money. The Mets obviously will spend money. The Astros are doing what they're supposed to do. The Mariners, they continue. Let's not forget, the Rangers paid for their World Series. They got after
they went all in.
They said, we are doing this, and we're going to do this right now. But you start to understand that if you're not going to compete and you're not going to build your farm system, you're not doing the things that you need to do to be at that level, we need to do some things differently.
But what's crazy about it is, what if you're that team that would end that little I'm coming out of nowhere situation that you usually get with teams, like a team that
I'm not saying you got to do it immediately.
Well, see,
but you have to be trending in the right direction.
I'm saying I'm thinking the big picture of regulation periods. Like, you will lose that edge of having that team that comes out of nowhere just one season and just sprouts their way into the playoffs and mess things up. You might lose that edge, but that team will win their bracket.
No, there's definitely a number that you have to be at before you can get kicked out. And that's my point. Like, you have not been playing well for the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
You have to be regular. If you're not doing the things to better your team, spending money, number one, to build the team around the players that you have, if you're not doing those things, you have to go.
What about the team that spend money and still loses?
Well,
they get regulated too.
Yeah, hey, it's equal opportunity on the regulations, man. You have to be better than that. Speaking of being better than that, we're going to be better tomorrow. We got a thirsty throwback Thursday edition of the Morning Kickoff. We're having so much fun. It's going to be a fun week. As I said, the big fella will be back on with us. I want to thank Danny Davis. I want to thank Kev Shardello. And I want to thank Cale Gundy. But most importantly, I want to thank you, the people, and, of course, my guy, Marcus Spears, behind the board. We'll be better tomorrow. Tune in to the Craig Way Show this afternoon from 2 to 5, as he is the voice of the Texas Longhorns. And, of course, we are your home for the Texas Longhorns. Just remember this: don't believe everything you see, because even salt looks like sugar. 10 days away from kickoff. Peace.
Every family matters. Join the Salvation Army's Day of Giving August 20th and help bring shelter and hope to families in crisis. Right now, over